Once, in a deep forest, there lived a lioness named Mrs. Lowly. She had two little cubs, Pommy and Nunny. Mrs. Lowly was proud of being a lion. She always told her cubs,
"We are lions. We are brave. We do not need weak friends."
The cubs listened and stayed away from other animals. One hot afternoon, Mrs. Lowly went to the lake to drink water. The animals near the lake saw her and quickly ran away. Only one did not move. It was an elephant, Mrs. Milo. Mrs. Milo stepped forward and said with a smile,
"Lowly, I want to be your friend. Can we be friends?"
Mrs. Lowly laughed loudly.
"How can we be friends? I am a lioness. You are just an ordinary elephant."
Mrs. Milo's eyes filled with tears, but she softly said,
"All right,"
and walked away. A few days later, an ostrich named Miss Audie entered the forest. She was tall, with long legs, a long neck, and shiny feathers. She ate grass, drank water, and rested. After 2 days, she started walking around the forest. She was friendly and soon made friends with Mrs. Milo and a rabbit called Mr. Momo. She gave them health tips.
Drink plenty of water. It keeps you strong. Sleep well at night. Good rest makes you healthy.
The animals liked Audie's advice and felt happy around her. One morning, Mrs. Lowly saw Audie. Lowly liked her, but did not say a word. For a moment, they both stood in silence. Then Audie stepped forward with a smile and said,
"Hello. I am Miss Audie. Can we be friends?"
Lowly nodded. From that day, they spent time together. Pommy and Nunny liked Audie too. One day, Lowly said,
"Audie, let us hunt together."
Audie agreed. That day Lowly caught a goat, while Audie caught 2 rabbits and a deer. Audie said kindly,
"Take them all. I live alone. What will I do with them?"
Lowly smiled.
"Thank you, Audie. My cubs will be so happy."
She carried the food home. The cubs ran out with shining eyes.
"Mom! So much food!"
Pommy shouted.
"We can eat for many days."
Nunny added. Lowly laughed.
"Yes. Your Aunt Audie sent these for you."
The cubs clapped their paws and ate with joy. Pommy said,
"Aunt Audie is the best."
Time passed. On another hunt, Audie caught many animals, but Lowly caught only 2. Mrs. Milo said with a smile,
"Audie, you are such a skilled hunter."
Lowly's heart filled with jealousy.
How can Audie be better than me?
Lowly thought angrily. She returned to the den with a heavy heart. Pomi and Nani were eating happily. Noni said with a smile,
"Aunt Audrey is the best."
Loli frowned and snapped,
No! I am the best! I am great!
Pomi and Nani looked at each other quietly, but said nothing. The next day, Audrey came to visit, but Loli turned her face. Pomi quickly said,
Mom is sick. Aunt.
Audrey nodded and smiled. The cubs began telling jokes. Nani giggled.
"Aunt, why did the rabbit bring a ladder to the tree?"
Audrey tilted her head.
"Why, dear?"
Nani laughed.
"Because he wanted to reach the high carrots."
Audrey burst into laughter, opening her beak wide. The cubs suddenly noticed. She had no teeth. They looked at each other, smiled, but hid their smiles. Later Pomi told Loli,
Mom. Aunt Audrey has no teeth. You are the strongest.
Loli smiled and whispered,
Oh, I was so foolish. Why didn't I notice before?
The next morning, Loli made a plan. She told Audrey.
Let's go to that hill.
Audrey understood at once. She thought,
Loli wants to harm me.
but she smiled and said,
"You go first. I will drink water. And come later."
Loli happily nodded and went ahead. Loli reached the hilltop. She started waiting. Time kept passing.
Why hasn't she come yet?
Loli thought. She waited and waited. But Audrey had already escaped from the forest. Till evening, Loli understood.
Oh, she knew my plan. I was going to push her from the hilltop. She is so smart.
Loli came down slowly. But Audrey was gone. Moral: jealousy is the killer of friendships.